Hello, this is Scott Carpenter. If I can keep the noise down, I'm going to try to do a update on Mike the Rancher. Seems that my neighborhood's quiet until I bring the camera out, and everybody starts slamming doors and talking. Wind starts blowing, it starts raining. But it's Saturday, it's a cold morning for early May. We've had, I guess this is the blackberry winter, and it's rainy and cool. I think the high today is barely 60. We got a couple of rabbits playing in the backyard trying to figure out what I'm doing up here talking. And I haven't updated everybody on Mike the Rancher, and sorry about that. A quick recap, Mike, Steve Ishdahl had reached out to me and wanted me to talk to this Mike, and so I did. And Mike had a situation where he had an aggressive group of Sasquatch doing bad things around his ranch, killing his calves, destroying his property. Mike has a large ranch, and obviously in more than one state he has property, and on this property he guided, and they were hunting, and they were tearing up his cabins, they were flipping the chicken coops, they were just doing all kinds of bad stuff, and everything we were trying wasn't working. And even the rebuking and the spiritual side of it didn't keep him off the ranch. They kept him away from his house, but they kept coming to the barn or destroying his livestock. And I was working on a theory that most likely the spiritual aspect didn't completely work, because the Sasquatch already had dominion over the property. In other words, they were there first. It was theirs by right of ownership, and so the rebuking was not, you can't rebuke them off their own land. And so I thought, let's try, we would try barter a deal, a biblically based deal, based on the Bible. And I'll put a link, trying to keep it short. Basically, he bartered a deal with them. No, they didn't talk face to face. It's one of those situations where he went to several locations where they, hang out and talk to him. He couldn't see anybody, but they were there. They followed him, and he talked to him and said, "Here's the deal." And the deal was basically, you leave my stuff alone, and I will, when I go hunting, I'll leave you, the guts, the liver, the kidneys, the tender parts of the animal that are desirable. I'll put them up. You can have them, and in exchange for that, you leave my property alone, and I'll live and let live. I won't bother you. You don't bother me, and we'll just coexist. And so, and also part of the deal, he said, if winter gets bad and you need, and you run out of food, let me know some way, and I'll provide you some food if you need it. So that way, kind of covered all the bases, tried to keep him out of his barn and everything. So, in our last update, that worked. The last update I had from him in late August of last year, that everything was working, and that worked fine. And so his deal was holding. Now, then in February of this year, Mike reaches out to me. It was on February 16th. And things kind of went sideways in February. And so let me pick up there. So Mike says things have started back up around the ranch yet again. I was working on the barn on to the west of the house back in January. We had some real dry, warmer temps. I had a 43-pound rock thrown through the east-facing wall of the barn. It nearly took out my full-time ranch hand. We searched around and found where the rock was picked up from, and you could see fresh soil that was under where it was picked up from. It was 83 feet from the barn. We weighed the rock and measured the distance from where it was picked up. I've had 2 more goats stolen from the locked, fully enclosed fence area, 6-foot chain link pen. No way to get out unless something lifted them over it. Moving on to recent activities, I was riding my horse checking the fence and had a large tree branch thrown at me with full intent, spooked my horse even though I was not thrown. Oh, sorry. Spooked my horse enough that I was thrown. Not sure what to do anymore. I thought this was over. And I responded, the Sasquatch are like any, I told him I would respond in detail, but remember the Sasquatch are just like any people. They lie, steal, cheat, change their minds, etc. Plus they live there, so it's always going to be an issue. The key is being able to live with it and coexist. I assume you kept your end of the deal. Did they give you any indication they needed some food this winter before taking the goats? And he said, yes, sir. Every hunt this year, I left the heart and the kidneys and the liver tied to old game bags in the exact same place, as well as, and I think that's where he went wrong, but he said as well, because he went over and above the deal. I left a few wild hog halves that I shot in Texas. I shot 12 pigs at a good friend's place and kept small 20, 40-pound pigs and brought those back just to leave for them. Everything went full on quiet when the heavy snows hit, but since the warmer days are back, problems are back. I did lose it some when the rock was thrown through the barn, nearly hitting the ranch hand. I grabbed my AR-10 out of the pickup and fired a full mag into the woods, cussing and yelling. Hopefully I didn't take it too far, but just got to me. It was a breaking point. So, not good, but it gets better. And I said I would go out and talk to them, tell them you kept your part of the agreement. You have to understand they will respond very aggressively to you if you're shooting at them. So I kind of, let you know, not probably the best thing to do. And I asked, do you think you may have missed a message or signal from them that they were in need of food? Or are these different Sasquatch maybe? You can't get them dependent on you for food. Stick to the deal. I say late winter food may be. I say since it's late winter, food may be scarce, but you can't become the grocery store. It's a fine line living with them. In the book, and I quote, and I want him to read about the Sasquatch that Mary Green wrote about. So I say in the book by Mary Green and Janice Carter, 50 years with Bigfoot in Tennessee. Shoot, I can't talk this morning. By Mary Green and Janice Carter, 50 years with Bigfoot, Tennessee Chronicles of Coexistence. Janice's father had an extremely close relationship with a Sasquatch named Fox and his family. However, Mr. Carter never fully trusted them, and they had trouble keeping them from taking goats and killing livestock on occasion. So there may be only a certain level of peace you can achieve. And then I sent him a link to the, actually the book's been read online, and so I sent him that link so he could listen to it. This is a link to the book in a series of YouTube videos. I think it'd be good for you to listen. Much knowledge is shared that will help you, because even Mr. Carter, who, like I said, had a very close relationship with these Sasquatch, never trusted them fully. And they always, even though, they had this relationship and they were being fed, they just still couldn't help themselves and would take goats or kill neighbors' livestock, and that kept going. So, that's kind of where we're going, where there's a level of, you have to be willing to accept. And he said he would definitely get, now this is mine, I will definitely give it a listen, but I'm at the point telling them either to take what you're given and only what you're given, or be serious repercussions for your actions. And completely over the taking of livestock, pets, and feed. I'm sick of them messing with us. I'm going to go to the same places I spoke to them before. I will be firm in my words. I'll also let them know I will rebuke them in the name of Jesus if they don't hold their end of the deal. From here on out, I will treat them as I would any predator threatening my livestock. I'm 100% fed up. And he said and he told me he was currently watching those videos. I said, remember that Mr. Carter had a good, close relationship with them, and they still did things. So this may be a process. I'm not recommending some sort of friendship, but hopefully a mutual respect that will keep the mischievous behavior down at a minimum. And he said, that's exactly what I want. I want zero relationship with these beings. I want them gone. I'm sick and tired of the nonsense. After watching this video, I am convinced the only way to get relief is to fight back. I said, I think fighting back is the wrong way to go. You can't win. They live on and around your property. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're going to have to you're not going to make them leave. I know a man in Upper New York that is going to war with them, and it's got to the point where the police have told him to leave them alone, that they're not coming out when the Sasquatch ripped the front of his car. They're not coming out anymore. This gentleman, they ripped the front of his car off and started destroying his outbuildings, and this guy was shooting at him and using explosives. And the person that I'm friends with is the neighbor watching all this happen. They told the guy over and over, even the police, the police acknowledge they exist and they're doing this, but the police were like, look, not going to, we're not coming out here anymore for these things. Stop messing with them. And this guy just refuses. He's gone to war with them and he's losing. After going through this, this is Mike. After going this so long, I'm ready to sell out. It's the nonstop fear, and that's what's next and fear of what's next from them, especially when it goes for quite a while. I responded, I understand that, and I am in no position to give you advice other than what experience I've had. You've got to weigh what's been going on and decide whether or not you want to stay there or move. I will tell you this: there's no guarantee that the next place you move won't have Sasquatch near it as well. The authorities know they exist, but of course won't tell anybody, and there's really no one that will talk, but I understand it, and you've got to do what you think is best for you and your family. Then he responded, on the blank side, we have zero issues with the Sasquatch. In other words, on a different state. He borders 2 states, and I'm trying to keep this, try to protect his anonymity here. I've been back and forth between the state I live in and the other state every week for the last 6 months since losing my sister. She was running the other state ranch while I was running the ranch I currently own. So he's saying in the other state and the other ranch, which is right across basically the border from his ranch, no problems. Crazy how I responded, crazy how they are territorial like that. Maybe go and expand the other side, pray and ask God to help and guidance. That is the best advice I can give. He said he just sold winter pastures in another state and was going to buy out the neighbor in where he currently lives and expand his outfitting. But with this nonstop BS, I'm fixing to just sell the whole thing and move to the other state. I feel like there's no way to improve my situation here. If I fight back, it's going to be worse. If I don't do something, it will continue to get worse. What a total crap show at this point. Would you honestly consider rock throwing through the barn an attack or from them, or them trying to get my attention? I guess that's the determining factor in my decision for moving. And I said, I think the rock thrown at the barn was them trying to get your attention. That's my opinion. like Steve says, if they want you dead, uh, or they want you, there's no, they're they're going to come and get you. There's nothing, you know they're coming and they'll come and get you. I think both instances they were trying to get your attention, and that was the horse throwing the stick at the horse and throwing the rock. If they wanted to hit them, they would have. That's exactly what Blank, a friend of his, said. He's worked this ranch for 21 years. Cooler heads prevail. I'm going to step back and pray over this. I feel I may be taking this way too personal. I'll put it in God's hands and let Him show me the way. And I said, smart move. Smart move. Yes, I think you may be taking it a little too personal. This may not be directed at you at all, but more at just saying, hey, we're hungry, etc. I do fear that getting into feeding station with them would be catastrophic, and I agree. You should never do that. He had a deal. He needs to stick to the deal. They must find their own food. I was talking to a close friend in Texas last night. He traps feral hogs full time. He said that he would bring me many live ones as I want. I thought that would be a great addition to the penned up around here, but will allow the access to plenty of food and possibly eliminate them killing valuable livestock. But then I'm in that dependent situation with them, and I agree you shouldn't do that. And I said I would not feed them at all. What you had was in the agreement, and what you had was in agreement and exchange, not you free feeding them, or I'm sorry, boy, I can't talk. What I would not feed them. You had an agreement and an exchange. You would give what you would give them, and they would leave you alone. I said I would not feed them at all, not feed them for free. So if they're not going to abide by the agreement, I wouldn't feed them. He said, I agree with you. And so I said, if you listen to the whole series about Mr. Carter, it was kind of a love-hate relationship, and he tolerated them and had to be and had the temperament to deal with it. It may be too much, and to be honest, I don't know if I could handle the constant stuff that they do. That's why I think you need to take it to God in prayer and meditation about it and make your decision with His help. And Mike said, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll be in touch. I'm going to sit on this a while with prayer and allow myself to cool down. So to say, cool down with them. Okay, that was like February 16th, 17th. On February 28th, I texted him and said, checking in to see how things are going. And Mike said, I simply turned fully to God on this. I prayed numerous times over the last weeks. I won't attempt to harm them, nor will I feed them. I went to all the usual places that I went before and spoke out loud to them. I was very stern, telling them that they will no longer take from us. They are not allowed within 200 yards of any dwelling on this ranch. There will be no leftovers from the hunts and anything else. I also told them that they do not respect this agreement. There will be severe consequences. I promised them safe passage around the ranch provided they strictly adhere to this final warning. That's the best I can think of at this point, Scott. I feel like my options are awful thin. I responded, that sounds like you're doing the right thing. Since they broke the agreement, I agree with you 100%. Just keep praying. I think this is new territory for everybody. There's no handbook on how to deal with these things. It's just trial and error and past experience. Mike said, I just had to realize that tread lightly before going on attack. Exhaust every option before going to arms. And I asked if I could share this update, and he said, yes, I could absolutely share away. Without that, we are all left to wonder. Without you, I'd be in a bad situation with them. And I said, okay, thanks. Anything more happened since the things you told me about, or have they respected what you told them? He said, I've had some knocks and some feed taken on, but only a bucket full of grain left out by accident. I just went and spoke to them on Saturday evening. I just brought another pair of goats yesterday. We'll see how that goes. Tonight will be the first night they will be left in the pen. I'm bringing the cow calf pairs back home on Friday from the winter pastures. We'll see if any of the calves are taken. And I told him, I said, okay, we'll be praying for you. And he said, thanks. So that was in March 2nd. On April 12th, I get a text from Mike. It's been weeks since issuing the ultimatum on them, and it's been real quiet around the place. This is the first time in a long time the chickens have been left alone. This is the longest a goat has been around without disappearing. I have left feed sacks out on purpose for several weeks, only to have them still untouched. That's unheard of. Here's my best guess. Rogue clan member was doing those things, and possibly the others cracked down on him or her when I was yelling at them from various locations on the ranch, issuing them the last straw ultimatum. Let's hope this continues, as I'm out of options. I said, praying for you and glad the truce is holding. And I said, I agree, it's likely a rogue. So for now, as of April 12th, and that's about a month ago, it's May, what is it today, May 5th, May 7th. Nothing from Mike, and everything's holding on. So I wanted to get you updated on Mike the Rancher. Sorry, it's been kind of long, but I think it's important for full disclosure and letting everybody see exactly what's going on. Nothing to hide here. We're working this situation out, and I think it's a good study for those who are living similar situations and are dealing with these things, how we're trying, trial and error to deal with them. And it seems that getting firm with them and letting them know that they broke the agreement has worked. So I'll continue to pray for Mike, and I hope that you will, and that the truce keeps holding and they leave him alone. And it's good to see that. But I'm feeling pretty good right now about it. But you never know. It's been a month. He could call back and say they're destroying the place. But I mean, that's what happens when you deal with these beings. They're just like us, and they have all the same will and emotion. And so, but it looks like this is working. And so, as Steve says, take what you will from this and use what you can use and throw the rest away. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up, see if I can get it posted as soon as possible. And thanks, guys. Be careful out there. And you got my email. If anybody else hears about this and has a similar situation, if you have questions, please feel free to email me, and we'll do the best we can to get things worked out and see what we can do. It's just started raining again. It's cold. But anyway, thank you for listening to me stammer on. God bless, take care, and we'll talk to you next time.